Horsey, the son of Honor Code, who earned over $2 million in just 11 starts, is here and ready to do business. Horsey is here to do business. Horsey is here to do business.
Okay. Love that music. That music makes it really happy for me. And when I hear that, I know it's showtime and it's time to get another interview going and bring some of the stars from our sport to light. Tonight, we have a couple guests, and I'm really excited. For the last 2 weeks or so, I've been counting it down because, Justin Stein and his wife, Jennifer Stein. And hey, look, I'm no Einstein, but hey, look, I'm really excited to have these guys on and just talk to them. Really cool couple, and I'm really excited to hear a little bit more about them. So without any further delay, let's do this. Hey, welcome, guys. Welcome to the platform.
Hello.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
Hey, it's all my pleasure, man. All my pleasure. I've been waiting for a long time just to have this conversation with you guys. I hope you guys are too.
Yeah, we were excited. We were getting ready and looking forward to it. Make sure we're on point for the right date.
Well, look, I just gotta say, you guys are really a real cute couple. I like seeing this.
Nice.
After the whole Valentine's
Yeah.
just passed and everything else, and Family Day today. Happy Family Day, by the way.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's cold in Canada right now. Whereabouts are you guys?
Pepperlaw. So we're like Keswick on Lake Simcoe area.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's not too far, is it?
Well, it's farther than we'd like to be from the track. We'll be moving closer next in the spring.
Mm-hmm. And that's where you guys are just staying for the winter, or that's where you live?
That's where we're just at till
Oh,
April.
okay.
Yeah.
Right. That's pretty cool. So let's jump right into to the background a little bit more. Are both of you guys from BC, or just only one of you?
Both.
Yeah, both of us are from BC.
Wow, man. I recently went to BC for the first time last year, and I really enjoyed it. It was really, really cool. Me and my family, we had a really good time down there. We enjoyed the weather. I don't know if it gets any worse than that, but or better. But we had a good time. It wasn't too much rain. I know people down there were complaining about the rain, but it was all sunshine and everything, and we were really happy about that.
You got lucky.
Well, that's what we keep hearing. So,
yeah, it rains sometimes straight through 30 days.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, man. I don't like that.
So January and February, yeah, it's downpour rain every day.
Wow, man.
I'm from the interior of BC, so my experience in the winters are different. But
Yeah, I'm Lower Mainland, so Vancouver and Fort Langley, it gets really socked in and lots of fog and rain, and
We spent the winter there together.
yeah, we were at my dad's for a winter, breaking babies with him.
Oh,
It was very wet.
Yeah.
The whole winter.
Yeah.
so is your dad? Is he a horse guy or what?
Oh yeah. He's my idol. He taught me how to really learn and understand and create relationships and bonds with young horses. And now I feel if I ever had a string of horses, I'd have like 22-year-olds. I don't care. Just give me all the babies. I'll get them ready. I love working with young horses because of him.
Oh, what's your dad's name?
Floyd Tompkins. He's been around forever. Him and my mom trained together. They were both jockeys. And he retired from training and he went up mining up in Fort Babine and Terrace. He mined, he was logging, and then he came back down to the coast and got back into horses. And he's been breaking babies for Peter Redekop ever since. Long time now. Yeah.
That's some pretty good company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got to be around some pretty nice horses.
Now, is that a common thing down in BC? You guys just like the ruggedness, the outside work and just getting your hands dirty. Is that really common amongst you guys down there from BC?
Oh, yeah. And here too. Like, working in the winters here it's pretty rough. It's cold.
Yes, it is.
I think it's
Yes,
just Canada. It's Canada in general. If you work with horses in the winter in Canada, it's just going to be cold and wet.
Yes, that's for sure. Especially once you move from BC. I mean, BC, it doesn't get too cold. I mean, like, what's the coldest it gets down there?
This winter has been the coldest. I think they had some -18 days, which is pretty rare. Usually, I mean, the times I was there, I left in 2016 and -5 maybe.
Wow.
And lots of snow this winter.
Coast,
Tons of snow on the coast, which is
very rare.
Very rare for it to stay.
Wow.
Usually it snows and then it rains, so it's there one day and gone the next. But it's been sticking around this year.
What in the name of CP24 is going on down in BC? I mean, snow and -18. That is crazy.
Yep.
No, I don't want to be there at that time. No, not for sure.
We've been lucky this winter here. It's been pretty warm, pretty mild, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, because usually I expect the weather to shift and gets really cold around January, but it's been pretty cool, pretty good, and pretty mild.
Yeah, it's been nice getting on horses, and it's not that cold. I've got on horses in the winter, and it's 25 below. It's not very fun. Feet are frozen for the whole rest of the day.
Well, I was going to ask you guys if you guys get bored during this period of time between December to March, being away from horses and training, or are you still training right now?
I've got my horse at Hidden Springs Racing Farm up in Zephyr, Uxbridge area. So it's about 15 minutes from our place now. And the horse I've got who's coming off a rehab, he is there and we're working there. And Justin gets on about 8 horses a day, 5 2-year-old colts and some older horses and our horse.
Yeah.
So we've been staying busy.
Just in the mornings, but it's not the same as racing. It's it's
laid back.
It is very laid back, and the action's different. I can't count how many times I said I need to ride some races because it's a long time in between, and guy gets to missing that kind of part of his job as a rider.
Yeah. I mean, I when I speak to a lot of jockeys, they tell me a lot of times it's the adrenaline. Is it the same thing for you, Justin?
I guess it is. It doesn't feel the same kind of rush. It's more of well processed feeling, riding races, but each race is just its own little world. I don't know, it's hard to describe, but you kind of want to be there all the time, and in a race. So after a while you start to miss it, but spring's coming.
Mm-hmm. Spring's coming.
I gotta ask you, Jennifer, is it the same for you now? You're a trainer now. Is it your second year? Is it your third year now?
Third year. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I just kind of dabbled in it. I had 4 horses were the most I had last year in the spring. It's hard, with Justin still a very competitive, in the trying to be in the top 5 every year kind of rider. I don't want to, become any kind of conflict of interest. I don't want to get into claiming. I don't want to step on anyone's toes. So I think it would be best this year, especially. I'm just going to have my one horse that I own and train. That way no one can make any excuses for not riding Justin.
Oh, okay. So I see. I didn't know about that part. I was thinking about, okay, where is Jennifer going with this now? Not stepping on anyone's toes and all this kind of stuff. Now, is that a major conflict on the backstretch or the racetrack?
Yeah, it gets hard. It's a tough industry, right? There's a lot of competition. It's changed a lot. From even when I was a kid growing up on the backside, it might not have been an issue back then, but I mean, it is now. A lot of people, they worry.
What are some of the things that they could be worried about?
Well, claiming their horses, Justin riding a horse, right? And then say someone else claimed the horse and he didn't ride it the next time, but I claimed it. Right. So people would be like, oh, Justin rode that horse a few starts back. So, maybe he's telling her something. Right. Like people, I mean, that would never happen. When I took out my trainer's license, I made it very clear to, the director of racing that I wouldn't be claiming any horses, that Justin, whether he associates with the barn or has sat on a horse, it won't happen.
Oh, wow. I mean, that's the side of the business that I guess some people probably don't know about. And thanks for sharing, because, that's good information. It's always good to know. Those are real things. And there's a lot of money involved in horse racing.
Yeah. Crying baby.
With Nana.
What's going on?
Our son, he's playing with his grandmother upstairs. It's his bedtime. He's getting him ready.
Fun times.
Yeah, they're 8:00. It's his bedtime, and his tolerance level is 0 now. But he's good kid. He goes to bed pretty good.
Does he know 8:00? Does he know time yet, or what?
His body does, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's always a fun time, man. It's real cute. So I mean, Justin, man, you've got you've had quite a career so far.
Yeah.
Do you ever sit back and say, hey, look, I've had over 10,000 starts, over 1,400 wins, and it goes on and on and on. Have you ever had some time to just sit back and reflect on that?
Yeah, I think about it a lot. I'm really thankful, I guess, is the baseline for when I'm thinking about it. It's a very grateful feeling of, wow, how lucky did I get to be in the shoes that I'm in and ride the horses that I've gotten to ride over the years. And it's extremely special to me. And I guess that's when I think about it, those feelings will always be there. Those feelings of unreal, I can't believe that, you know, I just won this race or that race, and the feeling that you can go back to in your memories with those races. And I know a lot of it has to do with being lucky and getting on the right horses at the right time. And I've been that guy a bunch of times. And, you know, and then having the confidence in myself to ride races. I mean, I guess people saw something that, you know, I could steer a horse around there and get the job done. And I think about horse racing and riding races probably 50% of the time that I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's a true horseman. You know, it is something, and horse racing is something that gets the fans out of their seats when they're watching the races. You know, there's so much adrenaline. You know, there's so much involved in horse racing, and it's like a minute and a half most of the time, or a minute 10 seconds in a 6 or whatever. And but it's enough that people will spend a lot of money on.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously you're not thinking about that when you're riding races. Are you the more competitive person that just wants to win, or how do you approach a race?
I approach a race, you know, like I'm
Calm.
going out there to ride. Yeah, I'm going out there to ride a winner. And
He's always calm. It can be the biggest race of the year. It doesn't matter. He could ride the Kentucky Derby and be the same. Just game face, calm, demeanor.
And it's funny you say that, Jen, because, you know, when I first started watching Justin ride at Woodbine, and, you know, I think you got some tattoos there.
Yeah.
You know, you got the earrings, the black earrings in the ear. You know, you got the helmet on, so we don't usually see your hair. This is pretty cool, by the way. You look like a professor or something there going on there. But you know, but yeah, you look like such a wild kind of guy. But Justin, you're a really cool, calm kind of person. That part I didn't know.
Yeah. Age, a little bit of age, I guess, you know, kind of calm you down a bit, wisen you up, hopefully a little bit. And definitely had some wild times in my youth, but yeah, I'm pretty chill, you know, and being on a horse, like sitting on a horse is a pretty relaxing place for me, even when they're wild, you know. It's
like our horse.
Yeah, it's I've fallen asleep on horses, you know, like I get pretty relaxed. Not race horses, but you know, people have probably said that I have. What were you doing, sleeping out there? But you know the ones, right? But
That's pretty cool. Now I read somewhere that you both your father and your grandfather, Justin, they were both jockeys.
Yeah. My grandfather rode late 40s, and I'm not sure how long he rode for, but I think I saw win pictures from the 60s of him, and he rode kind of from Winnipeg west, and I think he may have rode Blue Bonnets in Montreal, which is way back. And then my father, he rode the Alberta circuit, Vancouver, and a little bit in Arizona, and his career was not as long as mine, but you know, it's cool having family in the industry, right? On both sides of our family. So
yeah, and my mom and his dad go way back. Like they were roommates. Like when they were like young riders, like they lived together.
Okay, that's crazy.
Yeah, they rode races together.
And his dad's wife, common law, are they married?
Oh, Wendy? Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. But his woman and my mom were really good friends, and they all lived together and hung out and were friends, and it's kind of funny now.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And just to know that both of you guys, coming from BC, and how did you find yourself here at Woodbine, Jennifer?
I came out in 2012. I was in Vancouver, and I just kind of needed a change of scenery. After I graduated high school, I went to California, and I didn't really expect to come back to Vancouver. And I ended up going back and galloping at a farm and stuff. And then I just decided to bring my stuff out to Woodbine in August 2012. I went to work for Steve Attard for 2 years. Went back out to BC. I think that was when my grandma was starting to have some heart problems. So I went back to BC. I worked for Terry Jordan and Anita Bolton. I don't know if you remember them, but I was with them for a couple of years. We won the BC Derby. Actually, I got to groom a really cool horse that I actually broke with my dad. His name was Alert Bay. He's like millionaire, won 5 or 6 graded stakes in a row between Vancouver, Zia Park, and then California, Del Mar, Santa Anita. He won the Mathis Mile, and that was kind of cool. I was the first person to ever sit on him, and he ended up winning all those races, and I got to groom him, and then I got to see him go on to do some big things, stateside. So that was pretty cool. And then I ended up just coming back to Woodbine. I got my assistant license for Lauren Richards, 2016. I worked for him until 2019, and then I got my trainer's license.
That's pretty cool. You seem like a well educated horse person. Like you seem to like you know ins and out about the horse racing and the horses. I guess you kind of picked that up from your parents, I imagine.
Parents, and my goal was to work for 10 trainers before I got my own trainer's license, and I ended up working for 11. I worked for Josie Carroll after I got my trainer's license, just in the springtime, and helped her out at Palm Meadows the winter before last. So yeah, I worked for 2 different trainers in France. I went to France for 3 months. So I broadened my horizons, whether it was European trainers I learned stuff from, American trainers, Canadians. I've tried to take a bit of knowledge from everyone.
Wow. You don't have to answer this question, but how old are you again? You've got a ton of experience there. Wow, man. Justin, did you always know you were going to be a jockey?
No, I did not. I grew up riding horses, but my father, I didn't grow up with my father. He didn't raise me, but my mom always had horses around, and it's kind of like one of the only things I could do or had to do for fun, right? Entertainment on the weekends. So I'd saddle up a horse and go for a ride, and eventually I was riding anything. And when I did decide to go to the track, I spoke with my father about it, and he kind of pointed me in the right direction. And, I took to riding thoroughbreds, or exercising thoroughbreds. It didn't take long for me to figure it out. And then I was riding races shortly after that.
And he's got chef training. Aren't I lucky?
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty lucky. He's pretty lucky now, I would say. Wouldn't you say the same thing to Justin?
Oh, absolutely.
What else would we say, right? Hey, look, man. Do you consider yourself? Here's the question I was going to ask you. Do you consider yourself lucky or just talented as a jockey?
I'd say that I'm lucky, first of all, because you can't win a race if you don't have a real fast horse. He might not be the best horse in the race, but you definitely have to have one that's competitive underneath you, and the horse is the one doing the running. So, I've always noticed this about young riders. learning, if they're not riding enough winners, they're not learning how to ride winners or ride a winning race, right? And you have to have a horse, as a jock, has to have a horse underneath them that's actually doing the running, picking up the bit and going in the direction that you're pointing them. But I say after years of riding, I have some talent for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, no one can argue that. If you're a past performance, you're Justin. It goes on and on and on. I'll get into it in a second, but geez, is there a race that you haven't won?
I have not won the Breeder Stakes. I'd like to have that one in my resume somewhere down the road.
Wow, yeah, I thought so, but I'm pretty sure you'll get there. I'll be there watching too. Jennifer, Woodbine, first place that you've started training horses. Is there another stop for you?
Yeah, of course. I'd love to go Oaklawn Park or the fairgrounds, Aqueduct, or when Belmont, opens up their new four surface racetrack. I'd love to go to Belmont. It's close to home, beautiful backstretch. It'd be a really nice place to call home away from home.
That's pretty cool. There's some big aspirations. I mean, you seem to got it. Like, no disrespect to the male watchers, viewers, but the females always seem to have everything checked off and everything in order. We are always playing a little bit behind, struggling a bit, figuring it out, but
I know he gets mad.
Justin, man, I'm on your side, man. I'm the same way too. So, that's how it goes. What was it like for you, Justin, down at Hastings?
It was pretty awesome when I rode there. It was my first year of race riding, and it was pretty mind-blowing experience, really. Just riding at a high percentage of winners. It was in the top 10 in North America for races ridden, over 500 races ridden in a year. And so it was kind of hard to comprehend what the other end of the spectrum could look like. Just it was like it was easy, right? All these horses were coming my way and I was steering them to the winner's circle, and it was a lot to take in, and but it certainly prepared me to move on and come to Woodbine and see if I could compete here as a rider and get the business that I had out west. And it kind of that's how I ended up here, I guess.
Did you envision any of this stardom, any of this, all these good rides you've had and all these good wins that you've had? Did you envision any of this?
No, I was just in love with riding races. I never really thought much about it. I just went out there and rode on the track, and never really made plans. I just kind of when I was younger, and I just sort of went with it and rode the races that I had to ride. I was not a very forward-thinking rider when I was younger, I guess, but it was just happening, right? That's how it felt to me when I look back, and I was lucky, get on the right horses.
Now, I'm curious now for Jennifer. While Justin was out there, getting his fame on, and were you paying attention?
I was 12, but I was paying attention. I know. I actually used to joke around with. I used to go and play cards and stuff in the kitchen at the racetrack in Vancouver, and we had a bunch of old trainers, some blacksmiths, some owners that would come for the weekend or whatever, and we'd play cards. And I used to joke all the time because I had such a crush on him. I said, when I'm older, I'm going to marry the bug boy. And who's
Did you
laughing
know,
now?
Justin? Did you know this?
No, I did not. I was oblivious.
Yeah, I was shocked. I think
Okay.
I said like maybe 3 words to him when I was a kid, but I thought he was so great. Yeah.
And,
Yes.
yeah, Justin, so I've been like digging, doing a little bit of research, and they said that you're pretty spiritual. Is that true? And you're a big believer. Is that you?
No, I would say there's my philosophy is a lot. It's changed a lot in the last 8 years or so.
You're more
Hence,
nature.
it's just a natural feeling. I think it's developing still over time. I'd say there's a spirituality there. I just don't quite know what it is yet for me at this point.
Interesting. I've met quite a few jockeys, and a lot of jockeys they say pretty quiet or shy or laid back. Is that normal? Is that how it is with most jocks, or just some?
Like any group of people you get together, there's going to be, first there'll be introverts and extroverts. I'm an introvert, but and then it goes from there. Like guys like Leo Salas, he's a great guy. He's very outgoing and like kind of very approachable. But I see riders, they're sort of lonesome at the same time. They sit in the jocks room and they're quiet. They stick to themselves because you're surrounded by your competition. And any way that some of these riders, any way they can beat you, they will, whether it's, go and be tattletales or whatnot. And so you gotta, I've learned over the years, you gotta watch your back. So you don't really make a lot of friends in there. You can get along with some guys and have respect for each other. But as far as like, I just don't trust any of them.
Does it get a little bit strange though? Because I've always wondered about that. Jockeys are just kind of like you said, watching your back. People don't want to share any secrets. You don't know if someone want to take your mounts. There's a whole lot of stuff that happens. You guys are like you're competing against each other, but you're going right back to the same area with each other. Like, how's that? How do you manage that? Do you need therapy for that?
Sometimes it would be nice. I think you need a referee in there in the jocks room sometimes, but it's a different environment, and we all as a group go out to ride a race together. So there's like a brotherhood there, but it's different than like a bunch of people working together. You're working together to keep each other safe, but also at the same time, you'll screw each other and to get a race won, right? As long as you're not actually going to hurt a horse or a person, you're going to take edges as a rider and positioning yourself in a race. But it's definitely, being a jockey is a different sort of mindset than any other sport where you're separated from your competition.
Now, Jennifer, you being a trainer now, and are you finding the same thing as a trainer, or you just kind of do your business? You go to the track, you do your business, and you get out of there. How does that work for you? Is it the same like the jockey?
Yeah, being a trainer is different. You just lead your horse up, you watch them train, you go back to the barn. I think the only thing that I think trainers work together to do is, entries. They're, go into the race office and try and work together to get races to go, help each other out, talk to the racing secretary. I think there's, teamwork there, because it's tough getting races to go, nowadays. It's they write up a lot of races. Some of the conditions that they write up are, you look at your condition book and you're like, what is this? Maybe they get one race or two races or something, to fill, and everyone's scrambling on entry day. So I think then you kind of got to work together and talk about, what races you're going in. And if you've got a friend, across the street, go and ask them to give you a hand. Yeah.
But you touched on something earlier, which is the horses that Justin rides, you won't claim them.
No.
And does that, I mean, it's a little bit tricky, I guess. How do you maneuver, or do you not claim horses like you said earlier? Do you just rely on your babies?
Yeah, well, like I've only got my one horse who's 4 now. The backstretch dude. He won as a 2-year-old. He ran third his first start as a 3-year-old, and then he was injured. So he's coming off of an injury. We're just training him now. If he makes it back, great. If not, that's okay. We'll find him a good home. But he, no, I've just got him. I just want Justin to end his career with a bang, If he rides till he's 50, I want him to just do as well as he can, get the most business he can. And, it would just be good for me to stay out of the way. If we go to the States and bring back a couple horses from the States, that's fine. We'll bring some horses back from there for me to train. But otherwise, I just feel like Woodbine is kind of like a dead end for me to claim and to expand my business right now.
And that's all because of the relationship. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that must be a little bit of stress there for you, Justin.
We definitely don't want people thinking the wrong thing, or when I go into a barn, I want the trainer and the owners to know that I'm there for them and to ride a race for them. And like the plan for this year really is for Jen just to train that horse that she owns and to get him there. And that's the focus. It's difficult because we have a young son, and there's a lot of time limitations as far as having a family and full-time racing. If Jen were training a whole bunch of horses and I was riding full-time, that it doesn't leave a lot of time for the kiddo, right? So focus on this. We have kind of a game plan for the year, and we go from there.
Mm-hmm.
One race season at a time, basically.
Yeah.
Well, I guess there's no stress in getting stalls then. For you getting stalls at Woodbine, that's easy. Is that, I guess, easy thing, I guess?
Yeah, I've been in the same spot, good old barn 11. I've been in the same spot, so we'll be going back there now. We've got a nice group. One of my best friends is Sky Trinetts, and her mom Bonnie is in our barn. So, get to work around your best buddy every day, which is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I did pull up the race, that your first race that you won at Woodbine, and I saw Justin was riding a horse, and that was really cool. I mean, just to have your husband ride the horse for you, and it being your first win at Woodbine, or was it your first career win?
Yep.
Yep, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
Justin, do you remember your first horse that you won at Woodbine?
Yeah, I do. It's 2006 in August. I came to Woodbine just to kind of scout out the scene here. I know it's 2005. Sorry, correction. Yeah, a long time ago now. And agent that was representing me for that week I was here, Tom Patton, he hustled me a mount from Tino Attard, and I rode the horse on a Wednesday night, and the horse's name was Prize Deed, and she was sitting like 6th, maybe as we approached the quarter pole, and a bunch of cheaper horses, right? I think it was like 16 claimers, maybe maidens even. And it was on the dirt track at the time, and just weaved our way through the field. And when I asked her to run, I remember the feeling going, wow, this horse is going to win.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I kind of don't forget stuff like that, I guess.
You don't forget the dates. You don't forget the horse's name. That's pretty awesome. I mean, those are memorable moments. So, I mean, why would you forget them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, coming from Hastings, though, coming from down BC, you're surrounded by trees and good air, and coming out here to Toronto and winning a race, and your career takes off. Do you remember what that feeling was like around that time?
Racing it was kind of took over life in a way, and I just sort of went with it. And racing was really good, right? Like I had no worries or concerns, just thinking, okay, make sure you stay sound and keep riding horses. And that was kind of all I thought about. I had a life outside of racing, but it wasn't really, I wasn't really down with being in the big city. I'm a country boy and from BC, and way back in the mountains in BC. And so horse racing was a good distraction from all of that, right? Like the big culture change. It was culture shock, really.
And 5-day-a-week racing back then, right?
Yeah, versus
4.
3 in Vancouver.
3 in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of racing back then compared to now.
Yeah.
It really was.
When I
Does that put a... Go ahead.
Yeah, when I started, I believe it was over 160 race days at Woodbine. And now it's whittled down to somewhere in 120, I think.
Awesome. I want to ask you a couple of things here, because for a person who embraces the big races, and you get so much attention, naturally, Justin, you're kind of to yourself. I've always, like I told you earlier, always thought you were like more of the wild, crazy kind of guy, but that's not the Justin here at all. What did you think of Justin, Jen? Do you think he was always shy and quiet and reserved?
Yeah, I didn't think he was very nice. I thought he was kind of a grumpy guy. Like when I was working for Steve Attard, like this was 2012, 13, like he came off as kind of like a grumpy little man, right? And then when we started dating, I was like, well, he's very different than he was, back in his, whenever that was, early 30s or late 20s. But, he probably came out to Woodbine and got a lot of confidence, right? And stress and pressure and all that kind of good stuff probably made him a little bit, he made me a little bit edgy in the mornings. But no, when we met in 2019, he just, he seemed like I always imagined him to be when I was 12 in Vancouver, like just a very nice, approachable, quiet, smart, and funny guy. There was no, there was no games. There was no, we go out, we have a lot of fun. Like we take our dogs, on big adventures. We go hiking. We like to rock climb. So like there is still like a wild side. Like he, I get him up on the snowboard hill, and he's, he got the need for speed, but I think he just puts all of that wild energy into riding horses, snowboarding, rock climbing, whatever he's doing outside in nature. That's where you're going to find the wild side. But at home, he's very chill.
Yeah, that's a mature Justin Stein right there. You gotta act the part. When you're around the kids and around the family.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool, man. I love it. Um, your first stakes race at Woodbine, winning that, what was the feeling like for you, man? And do you ever get that feeling, relive that feeling every time you win another one?
The first time I won a stake at Woodbine was on the grass, and it was just another race, I guess. Went out there to ride, and it was a sprint, and the horse broke sharp, like he was going to be on the lead, and we settled him. And when I asked him to run the quarter pole, gave him his cue, he really kicked on. It was one of those, yeah, I'm going to win it feelings. And he, it was, that first one was sort of like getting the monkey off your back kind of thing, I felt like, to me. Show trainers and owners and anyone else who was watching that, what I guess I was capable of on a horse. I don't know. People see things, right? So that was sort of I guess more of a pressure feeling. Just, yep, there it is. There's my stake win. It was a grade 3 or grade 2. It was my first year riding full time at Woodbine, and I won one other stake race that year, I believe. When I ride a stake, I get the feelings are, I can get pretty pumped up. I'm not sure if anyone saw me, if you saw the win for the Prince of Wales this year, but
Oh yeah,
I let it all hang out there. It felt good too. I was like, you know what? This is a huge race to win, and to do it 2 years in a row off of a season where I, started out pretty slow this year. It was, I let everyone know how good it felt, right? Like, this is how it feels for me. If you can visualize it, I guess you could say, right? So
Sky has a video of me standing on the picnic bench at Fort Erie screaming for Justin. She's got it on video, and she thought it was the best thing ever. I was so embarrassed. And me and Justin said the same thing when he crossed the wire. It was so funny. We let out a big fuck yeah, like it was like,
yeah.
And it was so funny because it's me on video doing it, and then him, on the horse crossing the wire. We said the same thing. It was funny.
I wanna pull up this race. I'll see if I can find it here. I had the link. Let me see. I'll try to find it here. Share screen, and let me see if I can find this one here. And
Straight to Dova.
yep. This was an awesome moment in Justin's career.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And where do I go from here?
Mm-hmm. That was such a good race.
Yeah, it really was. And it's an interesting horse because I wanted to ask you about that. Somehow my thing here is not cooperating, so I think I'm just gonna stop it. Stop sharing. I'll stop sharing. Anyways, I'll stop sharing because it's not cooperating. But I want to ask you about that race, and I'll ask you about the horse. Straight of Dover, right? And that horse came from a claiming race in Hastings, down in Hastings. Did you guys know, or did the trainer, did they know that this horse was going to be that good?
The first time I got on the horse for the trainer, Danny Vella, the vibe I got off of Danny was that he had some suspicions that this horse was going to be all right. And he was certainly bred to do what he did. But no one can know for sure. They can only, like, Danny did an amazing job getting that horse ready and having him, turning him into the racehorse that he was. He had him for 5 starts. The horse never got beat. And I mean, his first race that he won, we were disqualified, but he still won it. And it was, a good training job on a good horse. And I guess you can only, he got it out of him. But as far as being able to tell that, I know that they were talking about, and like the trainer Danny Vella that had talked about the horses shift over to the new surface. It was poly track at the time from the dirt track at Hastings, and his form at Hastings. You look at him coming to run at Woodbine in the race that his first race was a maiden special weight. He was dusted in Vancouver by double-digit lengths, and then he shows up at Woodbine and loves the surface, and that was what really turned things around for him.
And the mile track.
Yeah, bigger turns.
Yeah, they get off that. Yeah, bull ring.
Yeah, that was a really good horse. During that time too, I mean, it tricked a lot of people. Just seeing a horse just jump up and do so well so early. I remember watching that horse live the first time, like you said, when the horse got disqualified. I'll never forget. So I remember clearly the history of that horse, and it just turned out. Then when once he started winning, he just kept winning. I think he won like 4 straight or something like that.
Yeah, he did. He was a real racehorse. I learned a lot from him. I watched him. I was his regular work rider. So, I got on him once a week for a few minutes that morning. And just to see his demeanor change from being this little kind of a punk colt, wanting to scrap it out with the pony and abuse the pony the whole way back to the wire, before we turn around to go breeze the horse, to becoming more and more focused on what he was doing and realizing what he was out there to do. And it was really, really interesting to see that transformation. He was just like, he wanted to win and he wanted to tear heads off of horses, and he'd come back after he'd run and he was very proud of himself. And it was quite the experience to pick up that sort of information from a horse, right? As they develop.
Yeah, and and then you won a Queen's Plate. I mean, how awesome was that for you? And you now stamp your name in history. Cannot be taken out. What does something like that do for you? I mean, for business, it must be pretty awesome. But also just being there, you can't erase that. You and the horse, and the trainer, the whole team. What was your family? People around you. Like, is there a big deal or just another race?
It's a big deal because it's a big memory for everyone involved. And yeah, I think it's kind of cool. And my name's, stamped in the history books for Canadian horse racing.
Yeah, there's no Queen's Plates anymore.
No more Queen's Plates.
There you go.
Yeah, that's.
And we got to spread his ashes.
Yeah, I actually spread his ashes on a wild horse reserve in BC, the province where he was bred. So that was sort of a fitting thing for him. Unfortunately, he had passed away the year after he had won the Queen's Plate. But
yeah, those things happen, and part of horse racing, I guess. You got to learn how to move past those situations, especially with animals, when you're dealing with animals. And speaking of animals, there was one point in your life where you moved out up into the mountains with some goats. Can you explain the goats for me, man? And what was the feeling like with all these goats? You had like 100 and something goats.
There was over 100. Those things were a major pain in the ass in the end, which is why I came back to horses. But the experience in the mountains was something else, and it definitely had an effect on me that I feel changed a lot of the way I think, and yeah, the goats it was a big project, a lot of work, and just one of those things, and it wasn't meant to be. I
Yeah,
guess.
there'll be no goats here.
No.
No goats.
Animals
Unless we need a support goat for a horse. No goats here.
I get the feeling Jennifer is not a fan of the goats.
they're funny animals.
Animals with 6 stomachs, they just die easy.
Yeah. I guess you can learn a lot from the animals. Each and every animal can learn you a little bit about them, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So they were very tough to manage out there in the trees and everything. Did any of those goats get attacked by any wild animals while you were out there?
Predation was a real issue. Primarily, I would say mountain lions. They'd come in and they'd take them right out of the barnyard. I had a couple of large breed guard dogs for livestock, but those cats were like ninja out there, and they're strong, pick one up and carry it away far enough that they could snack on it for a few days. Yeah. A lot of bears. Bears never came in and ate any of the, never tried to take any of the livestock, but it was real wild out there in the mountains.
Lots of big cats up there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now you say that really calm, like bears and mountain lions, and I'm looking at you like, what in the hell? And
we
why
just
in the hell?
grow up with it, It was real, my mom and I, we'd go hiking up in the mountains, and a couple times a bear just sticks its hand right out from where we were walking and took a thing of berries right off the branch. We saw the hand come out. We just keep walking, it's
nature.
I was, like I told you guys earlier, I was in BC, down in BC last year, and we were doing some hiking up on the mountain, and then we were walking, having a good time, just like good old tourists and stuff like that. And then a guy who's very familiar with the mountain, he said, "Oh yeah," and he told me something about the beers, and then it all clicked in. I was like, "Excuse me, you said beers?" From that moment, the whole demeanor, everything just changed on me, and I was like, I need to get off this mountain.
When we went to Costa Rica, we took this trail that was the path, less taken, and a couple days later we went rappelling, like canyon rappelling, and our guide was like, "Oh yeah, if you go to the Renal volcano, there's a trail you'll come to. It's the first trail to the right. If you take it, it takes you like through this really cool path through the jungle, but snakes and stuff were really bad." Well, we took that trail, and he's telling us about all these snakes. I'm like, I knew those holes in the rocks. There was something in there when we were walking. I knew it.
Justin, did you know this?
No, I didn't. No. Not at the time.
No, neither of us did. We went rappelling, and he told us, and yeah.
Yeah, I don't really
little bit of a freaky feeling after you've already done it.
Justin just said, he's very calmly says about the mountain lions and the bears, but he's like, I don't like snakes.
No.
Hey, that's crazy. So that's crazy. So you won the Fort Erie race, Prince of Wales on Velociter. That was a really awesome moment. I was there to witness it. It was real sloppy. It just felt good. I wish the sun was shining and everything, but you won that race 2 years in a row. Is it 2 years in a row, right?
Yeah.
Now you're gonna go try win it again, third time?
I sure am.
Yeah.
Listen up now, jockeys. You hear what he just said? He's gonna try to win it for the third time. In 3 years. So you guys better watch out. You better come strong.
Owners will be fighting to get him on their horse this year for it.
I bet you. We always run a joke, Justin, me and my buddy, that once it gets a little bit cooler, watch out because Justin will dominate. Is that true? Do you have the same feeling too as well?
Last year, I certainly did. In 2019, it seems to be a bit of a trend. I'm not sure why, but I don't even like the cold, so makes no sense to me. But yeah.
Oh man, that's crazy. I didn't know that. I thought the reason why you do better if when it gets colder is because you like the cold, but I guess it just happens.
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of experience. I want to ask you a little bit here about, once you took a brief retirement and you came back to the track, what was it like for you as an experienced jockey who had already won the Queen's Plate, and you've gained your reputation, you've got some respect from the trainers and so forth at Woodbine, coming back, and now you look in the jockey room and it has changed, right? What was that feeling like, and what was going through your head?
Yeah, the jocks room has definitely changed a lot, especially the last few years with a handful of younger riders. And what that does for me is it made me reflect on my time in the industry, and, as far as my experience and time that I've spent, it's I have a responsibility to the youth that are coming up, even though they're my competitors and they've taken mounts in business, right? Same way that I did when I came up. And so, I want to leave this sport like, the jocks room, I should say, and the jockey colony and the philosophy behind being a rider, whatever that might mean to whoever. You got to leave it in a better place. There's a need for leadership from older riders to guide these younger riders, and I'm just glad that I kind of recognize that. I wouldn't say I'm a leader or even a very good teacher, but I make sure that when a young rider approaches me, that I'm polite to them and respect them, and very honest with them, right? They need to hear the truth if they've made a mistake or what they've done right or wrong. And I guess that's something I think about quite a bit. I'm at the back half of my career, and that's part of the territory.
No, we've seen you retire, we've seen you came back, and now we've seen the mature side of Justin Stein, with his wife beside of him, smiling and cheering him on, and even with the respect of saying, hey, look, we're going to have to change some things up in order to get Justin through to retirement and so forth, in whatever years that is. I mean, have you seriously thought about that again, Justin? Because, I mean, you're still quite a ways away from retiring if you really want to. Jennifer is like, she's got that smirk on her face, but, you're quite a ways away, man.
Yeah, she's chomping at the bit to train horses full time, and it's nice knowing that I'll have a job when I'm done riding. But we've talked about it quite a bit, and one of the things that we say is that I'll ride as long as my body can take it, and I'm making a good enough living, right? And because I love it, I love riding races the same way that Jen loves to work with these horses and has the desire and passion to train them. It's the same for both of us, and my time is, I wouldn't say running out, but I value what time I have left, and then I'll be exiting stage right, and it'll be, oh, who's that guy? Oh, that's Jennifer Stein's husband, not the other way around, right? So
I love it. A sense of humor with no big emotion on it at all. Oh man, I love it. And what does this horse mean to you? I mean, Starship Jubilee.
That was I wish I could have got to ride her more. I remember watching her run when Luis Contreras rode her the season prior, and I was like, wow, look at her go. Like, she just tries so hard, and she was explosive to watch, and I just remember cheering for her, kind of like, as a fan, like with respect for what she was doing and knowing her backstory. And then the stars aligned, and I got lucky, and I got to ride her in that one time. I worked her twice, and I rode her, and
That was my favorite win of all of yours, besides Cheddar.
Yeah. It was an unbelievable win to me. I was just like, I can't believe this. I can't believe that I'm just won the Woodbine Mile.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I watched that race live. There's those ones that always stand out in my memory. That and there's so many more, but that race in particular because you're going up against other horses from all around the place, and the Canadian horses or the Canadian connections sometimes gets a little bit left back. When it comes to those big races. So it's all really awesome to see you in the winner's circle. Canadian guy. A lot of fans are always happy when that happens.
Yeah.
But that's the effect that you jockeys have on people and the fans. The real fans, really true. They never forget those moments.
Yeah, that's interesting. I will always think of that now, for sure. I value my fans. I have some very dedicated fans, I would say, that they always. It's a different sort of relationship, but there's only a handful of them, and then I have my biggest fans right here.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Now I'm gonna name these stake races here: the Gray Stakes, Highlander Stakes, Royal North Stakes, Durham Cup Stakes, Ontario Fashion, Rico and Woodbine Mile, the Arctic Dance Smart League, Connaught, Ontario. Man, I can go on and on. That's a track record that looks pretty impressive. When you look back at that, do you think that your son you'll let him follow in your footsteps too, Justin?
If it's something that he's passionate about, it would be pretty difficult to say no to that. I think that he has a bit of the need for speed. It comes by it naturally from both of us. My concern more is that he's going to be more interested in a much more expensive sport called car racing at this point. So he has said he wants to go in the starting gate. So we'll see.
Well, you never know where these kids lean to because as generations turn over, there's so much different things, so much things going on, the changes. But you never know because, to be honest, look, your grandpa was a jockey, your father was a jockey, then you became a jockey. Jennifer parents were involved in the horses, and now here she is again, getting ready to do her thing. Jennifer, do you have a bucket list? Do you have some really big goals?
Yeah, I mean, they've definitely changed over the last, few years, but I mean, I'd like just to get one really good horse. I mean, we might have him now. I mean, the horse that we have now, he's lovely. Whether he makes the races or not, that's something else. But if he does, look out. I'd love to win some stakes at Woodbine. I'd like to win, I mean, with him, if we got him there, I'd love to win the Jacques Cartier with him. Now that the Elgin, he was aimed at the Elgin last year and he got hurt and he beat the horse that ended up winning the Elgin, Catherine Day's horse. I can't remember his name right now. But he beat him, back in June when he ran on the turf. So I think he could have won the Elgin last year if he hadn't have been injured, but that's in the past now. We're going to move forward to his 4-year-old year. He's a much bigger, stronger horse than he was. So, if we get him there, he's going to be a force to reckon with. And other than that, I'd like to get some young horses, in the next couple of years, out of the sale and just develop them and do what I did with the backstretch dude. I love breaking babies. I like developing them and getting them ready to run. I think it's a lot of fun to just mold your own horse. They've all got their own quirks and stuff, but that's my goal. Get a couple nice young horses. If I get the dude back to the races, it'd be nice to win a stake with him. Definitely some redemption there in that. And, I just want Justin to have a really good year. Last year, he got off to a slow start, and it took some time to get the wheel spinning again. I mean, he picked up in the fall again, but it'd be nice to just have him win races and get our horse back and crush it.
Pretty cool. What's the name of your horse again?
The Backstretch Dude.
The Backstretch Dude.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only one that you're going to take to the track this year?
Yep. Yeah.
Did you name that horse?
No, he came out of the sale named by his breeders. They named him after a bloodstock agent friend of theirs from Kentucky, and he'd passed away. But he was an old-time backstretch guy, so they named him the Backstretch Dude. And I think it's bad luck to change a horse's name out of the sale, so I left it.
Yeah. It has a catchy name, so
he suits it. He suits it. The name suits him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did watch that race that he won, and he looked pretty impressive. So I mean, hopefully he recovers from that injury really well and comes back. I'll be keeping my eyes out on that horse now for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
He had a lot of growing to do, and he's done it. So.
Now, I want to ask you, Justin, have you filled your bucket list? Are you still working on Breeders' Stakes? And is there one or two other races that you like to put under your belt?
The Breeders' Stakes, for sure. I've won all the other classics, the Canadian classics for the 3-year-old fillies on different horses on different. But Money for Row won 2 of the legs in 21 for the fillies Triple Crown or Tiara, and then the Queen's Plate in 2012, and then the 2 Prince of Wales. So yeah, there's one missing from that jewel in the Triple Crown, and
Breeders' Cup, maybe a Breeders' Cup horse will show up.
I'd like to ride a Breeders' Cup race. That would be pretty special. I'd never turn down a Kentucky Derby mount, obviously, right? So, put me on.
I don't know any jockeys who would.
No, just going to be a part of that experience that's a big part of what I enjoy about it. I enjoy the show. I like Queen's Plate days. The energy it's unreal. The air is electric. Everyone's pumped. Everyone's excited to be there and talking about fans and newcomers and family and friends and everyone involved in racing. It's those big days are few and far between, and the racetracks that host those big days seem to do it right, and they're all very memorable. And to be a part of a Kentucky Derby Day or Breeders' Cup would be a feather in the hat for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, for anyone involved in racing, any of those would do, just having one of those underneath your belt is always an awesome feeling.
Yeah.
Hey, as the season's about to get going pretty soon, maybe in a few weeks or so, you guys will be out there doing your thing, getting ready. Do you get butterflies this time of the year, or you just get a lot of excitement to get going?
I just we both get excited. We get that ball rolling again, the spring fever. And
like to get in and set up stalls, put a fresh coat of paint on, and
take a horse back out on the track and get ready to breeze it.
Mm-hmm.
It's
just nice to be back.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the year, everyone is ready for the year to be over, and the beginning of the year, everyone can't wait to get back. It's the same every year.
Yeah.
And this will be probably the last time we're in Ontario for the winter, I'd say. I think we're going to work on paperwork to go down to the States for this coming winter and come back up. But 4 months off, it's too much.
Too much time off.
Too much time off. It gets boring. Cold. You like when your sport and your job is so mentally and physically exhausting and draining, to have 4 months off, you start, getting in your own head a lot, right? And you start, it's time to get back to work. It's time to get back to work. And it's hard.
And plus, there's a little bit of adventure too, as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's something we'll try this after this 24 season ends.
Yeah.
At Woodbine.
And it's always good to go meet new horse people. There are so many good horse people out there and nice horsemen out there. It's such a small, tight-knit community, and it's just good to get out and see what everyone else is doing. What can I do better?
Well, I mean, that is true. And you're so young in the game that this can only help you as well as a trainer, get your name established out there as well. I think you'll be pretty good. I think you educate yourself with the racing and the horses. You got a good memory. You got a husband that has some stats that as long as young streak. So that's good company. You can only go forward from there.
Yeah.
Now, is there anything else I forget to ask? Oh, I was going to ask you this one thing that keep bothering me all the time. Every time I speak to somebody who's from BC, I always ask, why are there no turf tracks in BC? You got so much green down there. Like
it's too wet. It's too rainy. Everything just gets so saturated. I mean, you'd be packing holes in that turf course till the friggin' sun goes down. Like
it would be a very, very expensive turf track for sure.
Yeah. You have to tarp it or find a way to keep it dry. Yeah.
Oh man.
It would be nice though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice. I mean, being so close to California, but I guess there's a difference in BC because of the rain and so forth.
Not this year. Did you see how many canceled days at Santa Anita they've had? It was like a 10% down on the handle just from canceled race days. Like just unreal. Because of the rain. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, we're gonna end it pretty soon, but I want to ask both of you, especially Justin, when you go back on the track, do you keep a vivid memory of the horses that you rode the year before?
Yeah. I mean, depends on the horse, but yeah. I mean, I don't know about vivid. I guess it's the same as any horse that I've been on. I kind of just have a bit of a photographic memory for certain rides. Doesn't matter the timeline, I guess.
And we watch racing all winter. So if there are horses that he rode last year that got claimed, be like Clint, he won at Gulfstream the other day, and Justin rode him a lot, quite a few times. So horses like that, you keep your eye on and always hope that they're doing good.
Yeah, for sure. And I got to ask you, Justin, because I know you and Kevin Attard have teamed up over the years. Have done some really good things. Well, how's that relationship since you came back from this very brief retirement, and you guys still do your thing together? Is that still a cool relationship?
Yeah, we work well together. Kevin, he's got certain stables or certain owners that they aren't interested in using me as a rider, which is that's all right. Kevin puts me on horses where he can, and we've had a lot of success together, and I'm sure we'll have more. I've always seemed to bang out a bunch of winners for him every year, and he puts me on some pretty decent horses. So this year it should be about the same.
Pretty cool. All right, guys. Well, just want to say thank you guys for coming on. It's been awesome. Just hearing a little bit about you guys. Just hearing where you come from. I didn't know that both your parents, Jennifer, were horse people, and Justin, you've got a long history from grandpa and daddy being jockeys. I mean, you knew this was going to happen. You knew you were going to be a jockey.
Unavoidable.
Well, look, thanks again, guys. Been awesome talking with you guys.
All right, you
Have
too.
a good night.
And listen, good luck for the coming season. Hope you guys do really well out there on the track.
Thank you. Talk soon.
All right. All right. Take care.
Bye.
Oh man, what a cute couple, Justin and Jennifer Stein. You know, what else can you say? Justin track record goes way back from BC to Toronto, and continue to do his thing. As you know, as you heard it last week, I'm going to Barbados. Can't wait. Sunshine. Just enjoying the race and just having a ball, man. I'll be there. I can't promise anything, but I'll be there. If you see me or you hear me, just hit me up. If you're down in Barbados, and maybe we can do some work together, right? Well, until next time, message me, hit me up, let me know, and we'll do this again another time. All right? Peace.